This is going to be a quick video regarding Matthew 15 and the faith of the Canaanite woman, just as it shows right here. Who was talking and what did Jesus say? What did the disciples say? I want to show you something you've probably never seen before, but you have to understand that Jesus never said these things to the Canaanite woman. It was the disciples that said that. I'm going to prove it to you here today. So let's go into the verse. It says, and behold, right here, and behold, a woman of Canaan came out of the same coasts and cried unto him, saying, have mercy on me, O Lord, thou son of David. My daughter is grievously vexed with the devil, right here. But look at this right here. This is what I want to show you. But he answered her not a word, right here. So Jesus was silent. He didn't answer her a word. And when Jesus talks, the scripture tells you now Jesus will be speaking. But right as of now, he is answering her not a word. Okay, so who's talking? Let's find out. And his disciples came and besought him, saying, okay, so who's talking? And his disciples came and besought him, saying. So the disciples are talking, okay, the disciples. They say, send her away, for she cried after us. Did she cry after him, or did she cry after them? And did she consider them all lords? Yes, she did. They were all lords, according to her. Then it says here, after he was talking, he says, send her away. She's crying after us. But he answered that. But it wasn't him, because Jesus right here is not answering a word. The disciples are talking. But he answered and said, this is not, never says in the scripture, Jesus spoke or Jesus is talking. No, this is still regarding the disciples talking. But he answered and said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Okay, so this is the disciples saying that. But this word I here, this word I in Greek could be they, he, them, or us. They just put this in the scripture, but it's not. Jesus is not talking. It's the disciples are talking. Okay. Then it says here, then came she and worshipped him, saying, Lord, help me. But she's talking to the disciple here. The disciple. She's not talking to Jesus. Jesus is in the background. He's not saying a word. Okay. And this scripture will tell you when Jesus speaks. Then again, it says, but he answered and said, but you have to understand who's talking. It's who's talking. It's the disciples are talking at this point. Okay, disciples are talking because Jesus is not answering right here. Not answering, not a word, not a word, not a word, not a word. So the disciples are talking, but he answered and said, it is not meet to take the children's bread and cast it to the dogs. So he was saying, look, man, I want to get my brothers and everything. I want his messages to go to them. We're not interested in, we're not taking this journey and doing this for anybody else, but my children or my kin. You know what I mean? And she said, truth, Lord, but the Lord here is not, there's no, in the scripture, it's not referring to Jesus. This is not Jesus here. This is not Isios or Isus or Jesus in the scripture. This is not, she was talking to him. She's talking to the Lord, which was the disciple. And she said, yet the dogs eat the crumbs which fall from the master's table. She said that. But when she said that, then, look right here, then Jesus answered. Only then, then. This is the time when Jesus was speaking, because he did not answer her a word. He was quiet. And the disciples here were saying that they were saying, that means they were talking. Okay. And she cried after us. See, she thought they were these, when she see these people coming, man, she was crying after them. She knew they were lords. So, but right here, Jesus, then And Jesus answered and said to her, O woman, great is thy faith, be it unto thee even as thou wilt. And her daughter was made whole that very hour. So that's what Jesus said. But the disciples said everything else. That's how you read this book. And I just wanted to let you know that because there's a lot of people saying, why would Jesus say that? But Jesus never said that. Never said that. That was the disciples. That was these lords talking. Jesus was quiet until the scripture tells you that Jesus then answered. When you see the scripture say Jesus answered, now Jesus is talking. But when you see he or they or I, no, that's not. You have to look at the context. No, it was the disciples. They were talking. They talked. Okay, so that is how you read this book, and I just want to make that short video to let you know that. So thanks for watching. If you like it, hit the like button. Thanks.